In previous episode, our story queen Hongju finally reached her home under a very lovable and romantic supervision of Kang Ho Young. When Hongju sobered up in the very next morning, she started to realize what she did in the previous night. The more those memory was getting clear, the more she was just ashamed about herself. Cause she just remembered how last night she harassed Kang Ho Young. She even gave him a pack of frozen dumplings out of sudden. Whatever. With a mental breakdown, she just got up from her bed and then the doorbell of her house rang. So she found out that her bestie Hazy already came to her home. So they two started to do some chit chat. And in the downstairs of our house where Kang Ho Young is living right now, he is just dying to see her again. He started to come with some plan how to call Hongju from the upstairs. So he started to console his uncle for a housewarming party where he can invite the upstairs tenants. But he found out that his uncle is already close to her. He knows Hongju very well and from a long time. So Kang Ho Young's uncle did call Hongju, told her to come his home and to meet his relative. Though Kang Ho Young's uncle mentioned about the relative a long time ago. So apparently Kang Ho Young's uncle once sent Hongju a childhood picture of Kang Ho Young. After seeing that photo, Hongju thought that the baby was a girl. So she was excited to see that cutie. So she just agreed to come. Her friend Heiji was also invited, but she didn't come for some reason. The very next day, she came to the downstairs and knocked at the door. And inside the house, Kang Ho Young was choosing his outfit like crazily. What to wear, what not to wear, to go and see his love for whom he was waiting for long 10 years. So obviously he deserved a nice outfit for that day. And here Hongju was waiting behind the door of the room. And when the door opened, Hongju just shocked. She saw the person behind the door and she just can't believe her eyes. At first, she thought that the relative is going to be a girl, but it was not a girl obviously, and it was a boy, our big boy Kang Ho Young. That moment, she just quickly controlled her adrenaline in her body and act just normal. Then they went to hang out somewhere. As Hongju thought that the mentioned relative was a little girl, so she planned according to her. They thought to go a amusement park, but now the person had changed. But the plan didn't change. So these two went to an amusement park. There they had a lot of fun together. They enjoyed the rides and did some photo shoot. Spending time with Hongju, Kang Ho Young was acting very smart, but he was enjoying it very much. In the middle of this happy time, Hongju received a call from her ex-boyfriend, and this call depressed her so much. Due to heavy rain, they drive back from the amusement park. While coming back home, Kang Ho Young take a U-turn and told Hongju that today's fun isn't over yet. So they went to Han River. I think all of my K-drama fan has already introduced to this river. This is a river in Korea and it's a famous lava spot. It was raining outside. At first, we didn't hear nothing but the sound of rain. After some silence and after some hesitation, they talked with each other. They talked about their school life and so on. Hongju even apologized for her behavior on that night after getting drunk. In the middle of conversation, accidentally she opened the car's window. And here the thing happened. As it was raining outside, she was about to drench herself by the rainwater. So here, Ho Young hopped on her without touching a single strand of her hair to close the window. While staying over her, Kang Ho Young can felt that his heart was pounding for her. So he just controlled himself, went back to his seat. The next day, Hongju went her office and there he met with her ex-boyfriend Junho. So I should give a little introduction about Junho and Hongju's love story. In school days, Hongju was the biggest fan of love story book. And from the day one, she was the biggest fan of the anonymous author Junho. She used to be a fangirl of Junho as well as her first love was also Junho. Day, without leaving a word for Hongju, Junho left Korea. That day Hongju cried, shouted, but he never came back. And after all these long 10 years, now he is a renowned author in the world. And he came to a office where Hongju is currently working. So he want to dramatize one of his story and he need Hongju to work with him on the story. It was really painful for Hongju. She wanted to cancel it at any cost. She even met with Junho at a cafe after the meeting, but conversation with Junho hurting her even more, so she just left the place. When Junho and Hongju was having conversation inside the cafe, Kang Ho Young and his uncle was passing by. They did saw them and uncle told Kang Ho Young that this guy is her ex-boyfriend and also told him what he did with her. So when Hong was leaving the cafe, Junho also following her and then Kang Ho Young went to Junho, hold her hand in front of him and take her from there. And that's how the episode 2 ended.